I'm writing a book right now. It's called 88 Keys to Effective Music Ministry. One of the chapters is 10 advantages of singing in the choir. I can't remember them all right now, but things like you never have to turn around to see who's coming in the door. Yeah, you can. Another thing was you can go to sleep without the pastor knowing. Listen, you can wear black and white every Sunday. Won't nobody talk about you. Yeah. But one of the ones, I like this one, is this. If you can really sing, the pastor will know your name. Now, how many people know that's true? Boy, if you can sing, we got your name. If you can't hold a note, we be like, what? Sister. Yeah. If you're really gifted. Now, some of y'all like, that's why pastor don't know my name. You better learn how to fry some chicken or do something. You do something really good, yeah, he'll learn your name. Why do you think Eve named Cain possession? She said, I am possessed with something. I'm possessing something. Someone named my first son Cain, and she's very excited because in Genesis chapter 3, God has told her, you're going to have a son, and your son, your seed, is going to crush the head of the serpent. She said, I got him. She said, this must be Jesus. Genesis chapter 3, you're going to have a son, and he is going to crush the head of the enemy. I'm pregnant. This is him. Make sense? Yeah. Let's go to verse number 3. And in the process of time, now we're getting ready to get involved in the text, because right now everybody's still comfortable and you're still cool, and I haven't told you anything so far probably to make you break that habit that you're going through. So far I haven't given you anything. I've just given you some head knowledge so when you go to church on Sunday you can know a little bit more. All right, but now we're going to get into your comfort zone. All right, it's worship time and they're on their way to church. And verse number 3 says, in the process of time, it came to pass that Cain brought a fruit basket. Now, you know, a fruit basket's always a good gift to take somebody, right? Anybody like fruit baskets? Yeah. Now, what a fruit basket represented, Eric, in the Old Testament was that you are God who supplies my food. This is what he was saying to God. You're God who supplies my food. How about that's all you talked about was the God who supplies your food? That was your top shelf. He's the God that supplies my food. So therefore, I bring him. Okay? And in the process of time, that means this. He says, I'll get to worship service when I get there. And in the process of time means I'll get there. Cain was a procrastinator. Praise and worship started at 7, it ended at 7:30. Cain got in here like 7:29. All right? See if you're sitting next to anyone who has characteristics. You know, I'll get there when I get there. Anyone ever had that mentality? I'll get there when I get there, that Cain mentality. In the process of time. At the end of service, if you look up, and the process means at the end of. Cain brought fruit of the ground as an offering, as a gift, as a present to the Lord. He grew the fruit. Watch this. He brought deeds. The fruit represents his works. Represents his works. So he said, I'm going to bring him some bananas. I'm going to bring God some apples and bananas. I have grown these. This is my work that I've grown. And when I worship him, I'm going to worship him according to my works. That's called self-righteous. Have you ever met anyone who was self-righteous? And they said, because I had a very good week and I did everything right. I had a good week. There's been times when Jeff, I was studying in the Word and doing everything right, and I was ready for worship, and God didn't show up like I'd wanted him to. There were some times I did some things I dare not repeat, and God wrecked the house. how he will let me know it ain't about you. Because when you think you mess up, you're not worthy. And then when you do good, you think you're, it's not about you. Tell somebody, Watch this, Michelle. When he takes the fruit off of the tree, right? The fruit now is no longer growing, but it's not dead. It's just, you kind of, you know, not growing. And I ain't dead. Just not hot, not cold. I'm just Laodicea. I'm lukewarm. God says, the church in Laodicea, he said, this church that's lukewarm makes me sick. He said, I've been to some churches that make me sad. I've been to some churches that make me cry. He said, but a lukewarm Christian makes me throw up. Wow, boy, this is good stuff here. He says that because Cain is religious. He is not non-religious, because if he was non-religious, he wouldn't have brought nothing. He's very religious. I tell you, religious folk make me nervous. They make me nervous because religious folk, they make up their own rules. Jeff, they only play the lottery when it's 50 billion. I got any 50 billion Christians, you know, I mean, if it's high enough, I don't play when it's, 2 million, nothing like that. I need it to be outstandingly high. Now listen, you know how you act when you find $5 in the washing machine. Come on, you do every one of Michael Jackson's moves when you find $5 and you don't tithe off the $5. What makes you think that you're going to tithe off 50 billion? You go crazy over $2 under the bed and you can't handle $2. And you have the nerve to pray as the numbers are coming up. This is Cain. He's religious. Poor Cain. Cain is like us, isn't he? Yeah. Self-righteous. He said, God, he says, this fruit is good enough for you. I know what my mom and dad told me. I know my mom and dad told me that they sinned and that you had to kill a lamb, an innocent lamb, and that the innocent lamb covered their sins. But it don't take all that. Don't take all that. Let me pick you some pears and some grapes and some cucumbers and some bad ears of corn. Here. I'll worship when I feel like worshiping. So because you don't know how to worship, the church has got to create a job description, and we call them now worship leaders. So they pay me. They pay me to tell you to worship. But you don't have enough sense to worship. I got to tell you to lift your hands. Then you get mad at me. Say, don't tell me to lift my hands. I lift my hands when I feel like lifting my hands. In the process of time. I say, Pastor, you paying me for nothing. They ain't paying me no money. They ain't paying me no mind. They looking at me like I'm crazy. You only need one worship leader. And the worship leader ain't you. Listen, the worship leader, Abel understands who the worship leader is. All right? So Cain brought his offering. And I tell you, you know when you got a bad offering, don't you? Ever been offering time and all was coming around and you got a bad offering? Oh, I mean, you know it's a trifling offering. But you make that tight fist and you be like this holding it. You know, yeah. Because you're guilty. Yeah, the tight fist off. I've been there. And listen, I have ripped God off more than anybody in here because I'm a musician. And the musicians are normally, they say, give us some offering music. They don't ask for offering money. So I tithe by playing, and my gift gets better playing. But then at home, my money's dysfunctional because the ushers don't even bother me. I know I'm telling on us musicians. So if I don't have no money, I find an organ. Oh, y'all got it bad because you got to find $1. All I got to do is find an instrument.